we're continuing to look at the various clan mechs. I've pulled out my toys. I've looked at previous battle reports to see how I've utilized them, and also from the perspective of fighting clans versus inner sphere. And I have to say, you guys are getting me pumped. A lot of really amazing comments, some great builds to consider, some alternative builds on the clan mechs that I enjoy playing, and this is an amazing time. Clan invasion is imminent, although we're a little behind, but hey, it's a Kickstarter. Things are going to happen, and before you know it, it's going to be like, here's like literally like 100 miniatures, and let's start playing. So building that list, prioritizing it, going in the Nova Cat, my second favorite mech. My first favorite mech was the Warhawk, but really these are both of my favorite mechs for command mech. But in playing the narrative, and I try to really stick with the narrative in playing the clans, I tend to focus on that invasion. You know, the invasion is literally happening. It's rolling out across the inner sphere, and you get to kind of have that narrative in play. The Nova Cat comes a little bit later in terms of development, in terms of history, but it's an equally brutal mech. And in higher battle value games, I often will run both of them, and just two fantastic machines. Good speed, good armor, and much like the Warhawk, it mounts weapons in both of its arms, a complete energy mech. Now, this is not so much a problem. If we backtrack and we look at the inner sphere, the challenge with playing mechs that require ammunition is twofold. Well, first of all, it's taking up a lot of space, especially if it's missiles, but even autocannons. That's space that can be utilized in other ways. There is the possibility for ammo explosions and internally, and also there is the possibility, even in playing a single game, depending on the weapons that you're utilizing and the role of the mech, of running out of ammo. Mechs that have an autocannon, I'm trying to think of the last time, my Blackjack AC2s, I'm trying to think of my Jaeger mech, where I've run out of ammo, never really happens. My longbows that are firing every single turn, the archer that's firing every single turn, I have run out of ammo. I mean, and we played really, really tactical, large games. So it is nice to have an energy mech. You don't have to worry about it. What that means tactically, and this is not exclusive to the clans, this is true for the inner sphere also, but it's heightened by the clans. When you don't have to worry about ammo, then if you have a shot, you take it. I mean, even if I need 12s to hit you, you take that shot. So what we see with the clans is the machines that run pure energy, and a lot of them tend to do run pure energy, you take that shot. But you have range, you have extra range, you have extra damage. Depending on the mech, like the Warhawk, you might have a targeting computer, you might have some other extras that can boost the speed or put you in a good place. They become extremely, extremely dangerous from that perspective. And not having... Think about, now the component sizes are different depending if it's inner sphere or clan, but you have the weapon and then you have the ammo. In terms of the Nova Cat and the Warhawk's primary weapons, the Warhawk does have the LRMs, you just have the weapon. So it frees up a lot more, and it's a lot cleaner in terms of a design for additional armor or double heat sinks. Let's jump into the weapons. We've got 25 double heat sinks, which means we're going to be pushing that. We're going to be, based on the weapon configuration, in my mind, you have the ability to run normal, to not overheat. But with this configuration, I do want to push the heat a little bit. I do want to kind of push that for the opportunities. We're going to start with the 2 ER, extended range PPCs. That's pushing out. That's also dealing more damage. As soon as we're in range, I'm going to start shooting at you with those. And I'm going to look to maintain, that long to medium range in the beginning and soak you with that redundancy. When we switch to a closer type range, then now we have the ER large lasers. So again, more range, more damage. And this mech, it gives you the opportunity to engage at long range and then close to a medium range, where utilizing the large lasers, the three of them, you're going to be able to essentially punch through with those large lasers, while inner sphere mechs, this ideal range bracket, are going to be able to maintain, it's going to be medium range for you, long range for them. So right away, before we add on any of the other modifiers, how many hexes did you move? Are you in terrain? Did I walk? Did I run? I'm cutting down my range bracket, and I'm adding stuff to your range bracket because I'm trying to operate at medium, you're trying to operate at long. That makes this mech also very defendable. The duality of the PPCs and the large lasers means I can throw out significant firepower with the heat sinks, pushing a little bit, firing all three of those, and protect myself just by the inherent value on it. Now, if we have to close, I'm under no illusion that inner sphere is not going to want to try to outrange me. I mean, maybe if you got like a legion of longbows and archers, but you're not going to want to outrange me. If I'm playing, let's say a Warhammer, it's a favorite machine of mine, I don't want to sit there plinking away with my PPCs and you're just going to tear me up. That Nova Cat's going to tear me up. I am going to want to get close. In order to utilize mechs that have short-range missiles, mechs that have medium lasers. I need to bring all of my weapons to bear. But this inherent difference in range bracket only gets more brutal the closer we get, because the Nova Cat doesn't have to worry about those minimums. So when you're engaging me, if I'm pushing that Warhammer up, as soon as I'm in range for the lasers, I'm going to start shooting. So that's at long range. The Nova Cat's going to be at medium, or in some cases, short range, pushing that out. And having the 3 and 2 is just going to tear me up, and having the ability to dissipate heat is just going to tear me up if I was playing that Warhammer. The Nova Cat is also just raw damage dealer. This idea in Battletech, overall, I mean, the inner sphere works this way. There's a couple of machines that allow you to do what the clans do, but the inner sphere is kind of like punch through with the PPC, breach the armor somewhere, hopefully in the torso where there's some components, where there is ammunition, breach the legs. Once that breach is reached, then weapons that have a lot of little shots, it's not so much about damage, like machine guns, small lasers, or missile packs that are going to spread. Once you breached, try to crit seek, try to get that spot and cause that internal damage. That's how you destroy mechs quickly. The Nova Cat, along with some of the other builds for the clans, they're just like blah, 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 blew your arm off. Boom, 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 blew your leg off. They're just raw damage. They're looking to cut your mech in half. And the Nova Cat is very, very powerful. The biggest challenge, the biggest problem with the clans, first of all, power trip. Massive power trip, because especially if you've been playing Inner Sphere for years. If you've been playing Battletech for a while, or you just jumped in and you knew the clans were there, but you never really kind of jumped into them, you're all in, the Kickstarter is going to be here, you got all the toys. I'm telling you, this is going to be a massive ego trip. Massive power trip. Massive like gods of war. Just playing with them, because everything is faster. Everything does more damage. Every mech is amazing. All the limitations it's like I'm like a Kong Industries salesman trying to sell you on the latest OST model, right? You'll buy it. You will. Clans are massive and how they play. And the Nova Cat, the Warhawk, the Bruin, these heavier machines are just brutal in what they bring.